Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Good Night Meditation. Today, we're going to touch on a topic of being beyond harm and feeling eternally safe. Times are such that there is more concern about safety in the world nowadays. And it's understandable. And the spiritual knowledge tells us that we are immortal beings that can't be harmed. But for many, this is a hard concept or an idea to come into full acceptance. I know that it was for me when I first started studying the spiritual knowledge and started to come into this understanding. There was this resistance, to accept that I am more than just this body, that I will exist and I have existed even before this body, coming into this body, and that I will continue to exist even after leaving this body. One or two things, although science and spirituality, it's interesting because science deals with the physical and spirituality deals with the non-physical. So it's really not always easy or clear to see through science. We can't prove aspects of spirituality, but there have been some research and observations where there is more clarity, possibly now than before, about the possibilities of existence beyond just this one body. And one of the things that's helped me with that is some of the research on near-death experiences and children that remember their past births, where there is some possibility, some clarity that can come from looking at that. And it's still very early in that research realm, but there was an experience that was shared by a physician that helped clarify some things here, or at least helped to see the possibility when he explained that one day in the ICU setting, he was resuscitating patients that were dying, and just coincidentally happened to resuscitate 3 different people on the same night. And all 3 of them, when they came back, they were kind of upset with him for bringing them back, because they asked, "Why did you bring me back?" And when this physician was very confused, asking them why they, were saying this, the common thread was that they shared that they had this beautiful experience of lightness and feeling completely accepted, more than they ever had felt or experienced when they were in the body, or so to speak, alive. And so it just one area, there's a lot more sharings from others that you can explore for yourselves, but it made something that seems so serious a little bit light, and helped me to see that possibility a little bit more clearly. So in a way, relating it back to our meditation practice, what's happening as far as the understanding from the spiritual knowledge is that as souls are dying and maybe having that separation from the body, even in a physical way, they are coming to that experience of the true self, the soul experience, rather than being bound by the limitations of the body. And they come into that realization of their immortality, that they didn't die, even though physically they may have, but they're still continuing to exist, continuing to have consciousness, awareness. So in the practice of meditation, what we also are attempting to do is to train ourselves to be able to come out of that attachment to the body awareness, such that we can also experience those beautiful experiences of being free, being able to experience the that feeling of immortality. So let's take a few moments to practice again and see if we can get some glimpses of what that may feel like. And this requires really that clear distinction between the awareness of the body and the awareness of the soul, and that both are distinct, separate entities. In order to do that, first we check that the body is alert but relaxed. And we do use the brain as a tool of the mind in this practice. So taking some deep breaths in and out. We begin to observe the observer behind the eyes. The one that is seeing through the eyes, hearing through the ears, feeling the temperature of the room through the skin. And making sense of what is being heard and felt and seen. But is not bound by any of those physical experiences. Has the freedom using the power of the mind through thoughts to come into an experience beyond the physical. And this is not difficult because it is the original awareness, the original state of the soul. Even before it comes into the physical experience of this body. And there is a sweetness to this experience of the true self, sweet silence, filled with peace and stability of this traveler who's free to come and go once he's aware of this power of the mind. Can come and visit the physical world, play a part using the body, but in a second can come back to the original experience of the home, the world of peace and silence. world where there are no expectations from anyone. No to-do lists. And there is a complete and full experience of the true being and full clarity of the bigger picture of a soul on a journey, experiencing and expressing itself. Having a higher existence beyond the temporary experiences. Having a higher awareness. The immortality, that experience of knowing that no one can harm the real self. The freedom to come and go. There's that experience of sweetness of the loving family of souls. That also know they are beyond harm, that they do not die. And this freedom to be beyond any expectations from the physical world, beyond any desires through the physical senses, allows the soul to experience full freedom and peace and contentment. Knowing that all is okay and all will be okay. Regardless of what's happening in the story world below. One is able to maintain that clarity of the reality of the home. And the story being played out in the physical world. Is able to watch it as if watching a film. Film has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there are usually very dramatic scenes towards the end of the film. But the end of the film doesn't mean the end of the journey of the soul. That continues. So, when ready, holding this clarity, one can come back into the awareness of the physical world, holding this experience of freedom and safety for the self and for every soul of the world, family. So, welcoming you to create a few minutes several times throughout the day, and especially in the evening, to focus on these aspects and remind the self over and over until it becomes clear and natural. So, as always, wishing you wonderful experiences as you practice. Have a good night. Om Shanti.